Sergeant Davis, are you ready? Cover your ears.
This is a lockdown. There's an intruder in our building. You need to lock your doors. This is a lockdown.
These are troubling times for teachers in America.
Remember, during our lockdown, our goal is to remain silent.
With schools gripped by the fear of mass shootings, these drills have become commonplace.
Why do we need to remain silent, Braxton?
If we're not silent, they're gonna know we're here and they can maybe hurt us.
Teachers and school staff are even taught life-saving skills.
When you pack a wound, you go down directly to the source of bleeding. When the bullet goes in the skin, it literally like explodes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of
But since the last mass shooting, there have been calls for a more radical approach.
These teachers love their students, and these teachers are talented with weaponry and with guns. And a teacher would have shot the hell out of him before he knew what happened.
Now, in Ohio, summer training camps have been set up.
I would consider myself a novice.
And what's your role in your school?
I'm the principal.
Increase pressure.
And the county sheriff has seized the moment to promote his agenda.
I'm a big pusher of getting armed personnel in the schools, so I'm putting this billboard up, and I'm going to put some extreme pressure on them.
Get a smaller camera.
But he has a fight on his hands.
I don't know how I can give you a stronger argument against arming teachers than giving you a kid who was shot eating lunch who still doesn't want to arm teachers.
In a world where facts don't matter, arming teachers is perfect.
We spent last summer in Ohio to see who would win the battle over guns in schools. This is Butler County in Ohio. Largely rural and Republican, it has a population of 500,000 and one elected sheriff, Richard K. Jones, the most powerful man in the county.
I can get more done as being the sheriff than you can going up to Congress and the Senate and being a puppet for somebody. No, I'd rather not be a puppet. I'd rather be the person that pulls the strings and makes things happen.
I've never seen so many deplorables in my life!
Sheriff Jones was the warm-up act at the local Trump rally and, like his hero, feels now is the right time to arm teachers in all the schools in his jurisdiction.
I believe that all the schools should at least have one or two persons that is armed. Don't pay attention to this little gun over here. It might make you guys from London nervous. It doesn't cost anything. They're already employed. It's just having an extra duty and responsibility of being armed.
How many schools have armed teachers in your county?
Right now, none. But when the school year starts, maybe two. For sure one, maybe two.
There are 16 school districts in Butler County. Sheriff Jones is starting his campaign to arm teachers in 2 of them, with the aim of having this in place before the new school year starts. He has the 8-week summer holiday to do this. Morning.
Morning.
On his side, the sheriff has his friend lawyer Sean Maloney, who is proving instrumental in the arming of teachers in Ohio. He claims to have found the loophole in state law that allows school boards to vote to put guns in teachers' hands. Sean now runs the Firearm summer camp for school staff.
If you're a parent and your kid is in that classroom and someone walks in the classroom and is systematically murdering your children, your babies, why wouldn't you want your teacher to also have a firearm to be able to stop that threat? because that's the only thing that'll stop an active killer with a gun, is a good person with a gun. It has to be done that way. And I trust that by the time you spend enough time with people like me and you actually see the training, when you see the training, it will change your life. It will change your life. I promise you that.
Sean wanted to show us the camp in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, where he trains teachers from Ohio and the surrounding states to kill.
Are you sleeping all right?
Really well. They're long days.
Yes.
His friend, Sheriff Jones, uses Twitter and the local media to drum up support from his constituents for his plan to arm teachers.
Sheriff Richard K. Jones, I fear I'm going to get shot in my 7th grade classroom. What would you say to that boy?
It makes the hair on my neck stand up just talking about it. I could only imagine. But listen, Bill, the shooting is usually over in 4 minutes. The police get there in probably 12 or 15. And you know what you can do? You beg for your life.
Pray.
Beg for your life. Now, I'm not going to stop till we get something done with it.
Well, don't be shy. All I'm asking you to do is get out there, okay?
Oh, I'm out there. You haven't seen anything yet. You're watching the next week.
Well, going to TDI. It's a training center that we train the teachers with. It's kind of in remote Ohio, so there's not a lot around, but you can see some beautiful scenery. And this is where the learning and the fun begins.
If the sheriff achieves his goal, this is where Butler County teachers will be trained.
I want to be confident when I am carrying. And if I'm not, then I'm not carrying.
That works.
It's going to be. Thank you.
Where does the death come out on this pistol? Comes out the front, so we don't want our fingers anywhere near it. The more we give you to think about and do, that's that multitasking. I'm sure you see it with the kids.
I teach intervention, kindergarten through 5th grade.
Intervention?
Special education. I've got a boy that's blind. He's the most non-negative person. I'd take him home in a heartbeat. There's more than that I would take home, but him for sure.
Kind of lean towards the ones who are the most needy. I don't know, my heart goes out to them.
We buy them stuff. We'll buy them clothes, shirts, shoes, just anything they need.
I'm taking care of people's children, and I just feel like it's not just my duty to teach them, but I may have to save their lives. My 13-year-old, he's going in the 8th grade, and I would hope that his teachers would take care of him.
My daughter had she was in college at Ohio University, and they said there's a shooter on campus. We're down here, we're behind a filing cabinet. They're saying there's a shooter. Do you remember that?
My daughter was there, texting me. They had the doors barricaded, and she was telling me that she loved me and not to come there. She said, "This might be it, Mom. I might not see you again. I want to be there and take care of who I'm responsible for and their babies. So I'm gonna do what I can. That's why we're here."
The sheriff has rented a billboard in the county capital, Hamilton, attacking the local school for not allowing its teachers to carry guns.
What do you think?
It's strong.
Well, I'm hopeful at least it'll get the discussion going on protecting their children.
The billboard targets the first of the 2 schools he wants to have armed teachers in before the end of the summer.
Hey Siri, call Sheriff Jones.
Just to confirm, you'd like to call Sheriff Jones?
Yes. It looks great. Definitely gonna get attention. Well, I'm sure the media's gonna be down here.
Sheriff Jones was elected with 80% of the vote, and while he can't force his will on schools, he can use his influence with the public to apply pressure on his county school boards.
Told you.
We already got it out on social media.
I bet it's getting quite a few hits.
I bet you it is. May I ask you to move a pillow?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. All right, I'm taking a practice.
Be right with you guys.
Practice swing here.
County sheriffs have enormous power, as they're only accountable to their constituents and the Constitution. Sheriff Jones is part police chief, part politician, and part local celebrity.
This is one of probably many that are going to go up throughout the county. I want to know what they've done since these school shootings and what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't care how they react.
Okay.
My purpose is to put pressure on them. And this will do it.
People might be thinking, why is the sheriff doing this? This is none of his business. It is my business. It's every parent out there that hears this. It's your business, and you need to put pressure on these school boards. In Butler County, some of the school boards have stepped up to the plate. Some do not.
The billboard targets Hamilton School, which has so far resisted pressure to arm its teachers. In a bid to counter the sheriff's media campaign against them, they're staging a whole school shooter drill to show the community how safe and prepared they are. Students and teachers have come in during the summer holidays to join in, and all of Hamilton City's emergency services are taking part. The man in charge of Hamilton schools, Larry Knapp, invited the local press to come along as part of his public relations exercise.
Go back and take their spots.
This makes me feel good to know that we have this many people on our side and that we have this much support to do what we need to do. It's very encouraging to me.
So a lot of weapons in the school.
Yes, yeah, but for the right reasons.
Get up there.
I want you to lay there and groan. Okay? Just be a drama queen. Can you do that?
Oh, yeah.
Breathe fast, like hyperventilate.
Do that?
And then, okay, I want you to be totally dead.
Huh? Yeah, wait,
The role of the shooter is played by a Hamilton City police officer.
It's 100 rounds, so I'm good to go for a while, and you show me how to reload. So.
Okay.
Sergeant Davis, are you ready?
Guys, I like you when stop screaming.
Did I tell him not to go?
We have an active shooter.
Can you walk?
Does anybody else have anything else that we can tie on her? Just pull off one of those cords. Come on, people.
Is there anything? Here. Here, tourniquet.
Okay.
But she hasn't moved at all.
You never have a female chest.
Can't breathe.
I don't want imagery of cops and guns and blood in my school. I can see why somebody wouldn't want that, but you guys chose to invite us, which I think is great.
Well, it's a matter of we want our community to be confident in what we're doing and understand what we're doing. Good morning. This is Larry Knapp. I'm the superintendent for Hamilton City Schools. I'm trying to get through to Sheriff Jones.
Larry is trying to get a meeting with the sheriff to discuss the billboard and the sheriff's campaign to arm Hamilton school teachers.
Clear?
I'm hoping to sit down with Sheriff Jones and share some information with him regarding our safety plans. If you could return my call, I would appreciate it. Thank you much. Bye-bye. Got a recording again. Hopefully this time I'll get a call back. I don't think teachers want to carry guns. The people who work in schools got in there because they want to help and they want to better everybody who's in that school. That's why teachers are there. They love kids. They like working with kids. They didn't get into this to carry guns, and there's just so many things that could go wrong when you put a deadly weapon in somebody's hand that's not accustomed to handling it.
Sheriff Jones has gained enormous popularity by embracing controversy and taking a zero-tolerance attitude towards crime fighting in Butler County.
Attention tri-state heroin dealers. Yes, you. Come enjoy our all-inclusive Butler County experience. We've got welcoming parties, air shows, curbside service, complimentary bracelets, quality lodging, and a helpful concierge staff. Nominate your favorite Butler County drug dealer for our all-inclusive experience. Text the OPS and your tip to 274-637 or visit butlersheriff.org. Some restrictions apply. Complimentary bracelets not available in all areas. See Sheriff Richard K. Jones for details.
Sheriff Jones has a second school in his sights, Madison, in a rural part of the county, which has just taken the first step towards arming its teachers. The sheriff believes the school board has good reason to want their teachers armed. They had a school shooting there 3 years ago.
A shooter in the school. He was 14 years old. He pulled his weapon out, shot 2 kids in the cafeteria.
And you see the blood and the food trays on the floor. Hope I never see it again.
But Sheriff Jones is facing opposition from an unexpected quarter. In the 3 years since he was shot by his friend in the Madison cafeteria, 15-year-old Cooper has kept a low profile. But with 6 weeks to go until he faces the prospect of returning to a school with armed teachers, he's decided to speak up.
Teachers can now carry concealed weapons in school. The school isn't a gun-free zone anymore. I feel threatened by it, just because teachers are people too. Just how any high schooler can have an unhinged moment or a bad day, a teacher can have that as well. I've seen plenty of teachers have those since I started school. And I think if you give the mentally unhinged teachers an access to a gun, you know, in the heat of a moment, if someone gets mad, if a student is being subordinate and the teacher feels powerless to stop him, or the teacher is going through some personal issues, I just think there are many ways that it could play out. All of the teachers that I spoke to expressed doubt and they didn't want to be responsible for that. None of them would sign a petition or come to a board meeting and speak out. They all just seem to be very intimidated by whatever is at the top of that hierarchy. I've heard that it's being pushed by Sheriff Jones.
As I started getting in my car, I got a call. Cooper had been shot. I remember not knowing if Cooper was going to be okay. And I believe that most people that support the issue of arming teachers in school, it comes from a fear of not wanting to feel that. And because I know what it's like, God, I can't even imagine the parents that have lost children to this, but I know what it's like to worry that you will. I get upset at people like Sheriff Jones who should know better. He cites his school shooting as a reason to arm teachers, manipulating a situation where my son almost died to push their own agenda.
So you could say, when I was 6, I had a birthday. 7. And then you turned 7. Yeah.
EIGHT is 8. Is there another kind of 8?
This person comes in, you got all these school kids around. Lights up, 20 of them, they're down, they're screaming, they're bleeding out, there's dead kids. You come in, put the hurt on them, they go down, but they're still alive. Can we put a couple more rounds in them so we don't have to worry about turning our back and we can start working on the kids that are bleeding out? Thank you. We cannot. We're the good guys. If they're not a threat, you cannot shoot. If they are a threat, go ahead and shoot. You have to, because you're it. You're their survival.
Get up a little bit. Sight
The
on.
teacher training camp is run by an organisation called FASTER, a charity set up by a gun rights group and staffed by a legion of volunteers.
Walking's good. I just want you to get your gun up where you can see it.
Law enforcement uses firepower to stop an active killer because that has been shown to be the best and most reliable way. And citizens do it in other places too. It's worked wonderfully throughout our country for decades. Where do our mass killings happen? In our schools, in our churches, where we have a law, and in a lot of cases a sign that says no guns. And what we need to understand is what that sign reads to the person who wants to kill a bunch of people is, here is a great place for you to commit your horrible crime. We've made it safe for you. We've disarmed all of our children and all of our protectors so that you can come in and kill them all without worrying about anybody stopping you. We've got a perfect place for you to commit your heinous crime.
This is to get behind a door.
We shouldn't have to do this. Intrinsically, no, we shouldn't. And kids shouldn't get cancer either. But they do. And when they do, those who go, well, it shouldn't happen, I'm not doing anything about it, we're sentencing those children to death. How horrible is that?
Cycles. I jump right back to, see how my finger came right back to
What you're doing here is controversial. So I'd like to ask...
Safety and keeping our kids alive can't be controversial. I've had this debate is people will talk to us and say, well, I need to find the other side of the story. I say, that's fine. You find me somebody who wants more dead kids. That side of the argument is ridiculous. There cannot be anybody out there who says, I am comfortable with having more dead or injured kids in the school.
Do you have children?
I do. I've got 4 school-age children.
And where do they go to school?
They're homeschooled.
How come?
How could I, as a parent, send my kids, force them to go into a building where I know they've done nothing to secure against real threats that are going to happen again, unfortunately?
I guess that's where I feel sad for you, because when my kids go to school, I never feel that fear.
The parents, I've talked to a parent from Sandy Hook, and they never felt that fear either. They were 100% their children were safe. And then they didn't come home from school that day. And they're never coming home again. You'll start to see some of what we're talking about in this next stuff. You'll start to see how this stuff starts to come into play.
Are we the shooters? We're the good people?
We're the responding staff members.
Okay.
The teachers have to role-play school shooting scenarios in preparation for returning to class carrying a gun.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing well, yourself?
Good. I'm doing well. I need to pick up my daughter.
What's your name?
I'm Eunice.
I'm sorry, Eunice, you were not listed as the emergency contact for
You need to check again because I'm sure I am.
ma'am, I put the file right here. Your name is not listed. I'm sorry, I've not listed the
I
child
need
to you.
her right now.
Ma'am, ma'am.
Bang! 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 Bang!
So you can imagine 200 or 300 kids in a library or an auditorium all trying to get away and the mess that you would have. How hard was it to see the guy that actually had the gun?
I love to see students learn science, and that's why I became a teacher. I love the stars in the sky, space exploration.
For me, with language arts, I love reading a good novel, and probably by far my favorite is a book called Number the Stars about the Jewish Holocaust.
One of the reasons we wish to remain anonymous is that if you are identified, then you become a target. The first people that they would eliminate would be the armed staff.
I feel like we would be the first target they would go after.
We had a school shooting in our school, feeling of helplessness while this student could do what he wanted to do.
I was ready to give my life before, but I was armed with a textbook. Now I just have another tool to provide that more realistic response.
Once they've identified themselves as a killer and a threat, then I would be able to do what I needed to do with a clear conscience.
It wouldn't be easy, but it would be necessary. And I have 25 lives I'm looking after, and as hard as that would be on me, if I can save those 24, it's worth it. So the idea of not allowing teachers to protect themselves means we're simply sheep, and we're there for the slaughter.
With only a month until the end of the summer holidays, Madison School has taken the first steps towards arming its teachers. It had a school shooting 3 years ago.
Cooper, what's your last name?
Caffrey.
Cooper Caffrey. Cooper, can you tell us what happened today?
I was eating lunch. I heard the shots before I felt it. And I looked around and I tried to run and I couldn't. I just couldn't. I looked down, there was blood, and I fell. I saw Austin Hancock I saw a black revolver.
Okay.
A lot of times Cooper will relive different parts of that day in his sleep. He doesn't remember it. He doesn't really ever talk about it. Cooper doesn't really talk about the shooting at all. And I have the scar from Cooper. He was really self-conscious about the scar, and I was getting another tattoo that day, and he had made a comment about his scar. And so jokingly, I was like, well, I'll just get it tattooed. So oddly, I have a tramp stamp as well with his bullet exit, which is another joke.
So what you've got a tattoo with his bullet exit in your back?
Yeah, and in my stomach. And then this is, I hope it's right. I mean, you see all those tattoos all the time where you think they say one thing, but they actually say another. So it might say douchebag, but it's supposed to say forgiveness.
There are many questions that I have for you, Austin. Why me? Why Cameron? Why at all? I understand that you felt that this world kept hitting and hitting, and maybe you just wanted to hit back. I want you to know that I forgive you. People think that's crazy and keep telling me I should be mad and I have a right to be mad, but I'm not. You were one of my best friends, and the shooting hasn't changed that for me.
It is the most, in my life, the most beautiful example of forgiveness that I have ever seen, and it was Cooper.
Cooper was the first boy to be shot in the Madison cafeteria. His friend Cameron was the second.
Yeah.
How many are there?
There are 2.
If you had armed teachers at Madison when the shooting happened, do you think that would have prevented you two from getting shot?
Absolutely not.
No.
No, there was actually an armed police officer within 100 feet of the shooting when it all happened. So I think that the only difference in the situation is you would have had 1 death, which would have been Austin, or potentially other kids if that teacher's a bad shot.
Obviously something's happened, something's gone wrong for you. You need help with it. You don't need death, because what's that really going to do for anyone? Nothing. It's just going to have more sorrow, more problems in the future.
It looks like your school is going to have armed staff when you go back. Do you want to stay there?
We'll see what happens. Do you know who's armed, by the way? Yeah, because I would love to get that list, because I'm sure I'm not going to get it from the school.
Why do you want to find out?
So that's not, like, I'm not going to be in a room where there is something that can kill more than 5 people in less than 30 seconds without knowing where that thing is.
Are you going to find out?
I'm going to try. I mean, the FASTER program states that there is no storage area for their weapons, so they're going to have them on them. So unless they have, like, some kind of covert holster thing, I think they'll be able to tell pretty easily. Which, again, I feel will just serve to intimidate people that are just trying to learn. Like, it's like just imagine you're sitting at your desk taking a test and a teacher is walking up and down the aisles of the desks and there's a gun right here, like right next to your face.
This evening, the Madison School Board are holding a public meeting for the community to voice their views on the arming of its teachers.
Him staying at that school was his choice, and it's something that he felt he needed to do to show other people that they didn't need to be afraid. And I think that this school board has put him in the position where they need to be afraid. I don't think Cooper will stop. I think what Cooper has is faith, that people will do the right thing.
If you're within driving distance of my voice, make sure you show up at Madison Local School High School to make sure that we're heard. This is our county, and our kids' lives at stake. We're not going to back down for anybody.
Sean and Joe from Faster have come to show support for the arming of Madison's teachers.
Regarding these matters, we want the community to have an opportunity to have a direct role, is why we are holding this special meeting tonight.
If this should ever happen again, I want my kids' teachers to have more than a baseball bat to protect them against someone with a gun.
We start adding in armed teachers and armed resource officers, weapons on top of weapons on top of weapons. Where do we stop?
Arm the teachers. Protect my grandkids and protect the people of this community.
Right now, my 9-year-old grandson does not feel safe. He said, if my teacher gets mad, will she shoot me? Is this the message we want to send to our students?
When violence starts, every minute you wait, 5 to 7 additional dead or injured are what you're looking at. The only question for schools is how many minutes are you going to let the killing and the violence continue before you have an effective means of stopping that.
School boards are made up of 5 elected community members who are responsible for governing their schools. The decision to arm teachers lies solely in their hands.
As our society continues to become more and more violent, we as students, teachers, parents, grandparents, and as a community should focus our attention on the underlying causes of this degeneration of our society. We need to stand up against those who attempt to use the issue of school security as a smokescreen to conceal their true agenda, which is to forcefully spread their fanatical gun views further throughout our society. Teachers should teach and police should protect.
I had to walk out. I mean, it sucks to watch all these people get up there and pour their hearts out into a speech, and they're hoping that everyone goes away. They made the decision to go through a free program in Faster, and they're just hoping that everybody else goes away. Because now, if they go back, then they have to be held accountable for making that decision that is in line with this bullshit sheriff that we have in this county, who thinks that he's the love child of Donald Trump and fucking John Wayne. And they're all too eager to kiss his ass. So I can't even stand in there and watch. I can't even, and then there's Cooper, who just wants to do the right thing, always. I don't know how I can give you a stronger argument against arming teachers than giving you a kid who was shot eating lunch, who still doesn't want to arm teachers.
Go ahead.
I can't believe how time is flying. And are the schools ready again for a school shooter or not?
They're arming teachers.
Yeah.
They're in training as we speak.
Oh, gosh.
Like I told you before, Bill, when the farmer has a cow or cattle that get out of the field, he doesn't send the cows to psychiatric help. What he does, he fixes the gate, locks the gate.
Sorry, I had to shoot you, man. Not really. In real life, I would never say that. How about the neck?
Tomorrow, stop. All right. Who's the next bad person?
Not me, man.
See you in bed, honey. Better close the door.
John Benner is a Vietnam veteran and weapons expert who's tasked with mentally preparing the teachers to return to school ready to kill. He calls this mindset training.
You have to get it locked into your head that you're willing to kill somebody. If it happens in your school and you're armed, it's your day. You are the important people. You can solve the problem, okay? If you can know that that's a shooter, gun them down. Gun them down. There's no mercy. You may be engaging somebody and shooting somebody that you know, that you've dealt with in the past, that is much younger than you are. You have to make up your mind that, yeah, I can do this. We're going to show you one more video here. And if you don't want to watch it, if you want to close your eyes, that's up to you. That's okay. It is brutal. Okay? This is the cubs of a law. How many people are coming into our country that we have no idea who they are, how they've been trained, or anything else? And now you suddenly have a couple of these kids in your school from the outside, and you don't have any idea that they've had this training.
John found the Cubs of Allah video on YouTube, but was unable to let us know who had posted it, or even if it was real.
We believe in our own heart that most people are good, and I like to think that, but I also know in reality that's not true. And they need to know in reality that that's not true. You know, in Vietnam there was young children that were fighting and you know, would kill you if they had the opportunity.
Lynn teaches at a school outside Butler County that's already armed its teachers, but without its parents or children knowing. It turns out that school boards are under no legal obligation to tell their community if, when, and which teachers will be carrying guns in class.
Are the children going to know that you're carrying a weapon at school?
Hopefully not. It'll be underneath my shirt. So hopefully I can hide it. A lot of kids have diabetic pumps and stuff like that. That's probably what, if they see it, that's probably what they'll think it is.
Do kids hug you at school?
Yeah. But I'll try to go that way. I'll have 2 magazines on me, so 14 shots. Can you tell?
I can't tell by looking at you.
There you go. That's the whole plan.
You have to face the possibility that you might have to shoot a child. Have you given that a lot of thought?
Not too much. I think I could do it. I mean, if they're shooting other kids, of course I could.
And would you be aiming for the head or the chest, or have you worked out what you would do in that situation?
I'd aim for the chest.
Why is that?
It's easier to hit. You could, you know, hit them right in the heart. It's pretty much deadly. If you miss in the head, then they could shoot back.
If you produce a gun from a holster in front of a shooter, are you worried that you are then risking getting shot where, or
yeah.
You might not?
Oh yeah.
Have you given that some thought?
Yeah, but my kids are grown, and I'd rather protect little kids than have a whole life than me. Now you're gonna make me cry.
Kids might be grown, but you don't want to. I assume you don't want to die.
Oh no, I don't want to die. No, I'd like to see my grandkids and stuff. But I'd rather give them a life than little kids. I mean, they have a whole life in front of them.
Your husband, does he worry, your husband?
Yeah, a little bit.
About that, about losing you?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Has he said that to you?
Oh, yeah.
What's he said?
He said, if you're going to shoot him to kill him.
The sheriff's billboard in Hamilton is still up in the middle of town, and the pressure is on for Hamilton to arm its teachers. But Hamilton Superintendent Larry, who's been opposed to arming his teachers, has now got a meeting with Sheriff Jones to talk about how to get the billboard to come down.
Do you ever get nervous?
I do. I've met with Sheriff Jones before. I've worked with Sheriff Jones before, so hopefully he'll remember that. We'll find out here in just a minute. All right, girls, put on your seatbelts. He and I worked together on a fundraiser for a church, chili cook-off, and we were judges. This is the sheriff's offices here on the right. Those windows are like that because that's also a prison. Hello.
Sir. Hello. You guys go in the lobby.
Thank you.
Front lobby.
Sorry, not with these guys.
Yeah, the front
that
lobby.
way. Okay.
While Larry was happy for us to join the meeting, the sheriff wanted to talk to him privately.
Do you need me to stay? Yes. Okay.
Once Larry had left, the sheriff allowed us a few minutes to talk to him.
Do you feel that the billboard is having its desired result?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about that.
It's having results. The school boards see this billboard, they see the people talking, the parents are concerned, and I believe that it has results, and I believe good will come from it. Good has already came from it.
Talked about the billboard and yes, we talked about the billboard. I'm at a loss for words there. The sooner that billboard comes down, the happier we'll all be, but that's up to him as to when it comes down.
Glad you're here. Good morning. You're looking good today. There we go. So is there anything exciting happening this week?
School starts.
Oh, is that real? Is that true? School's starting again. We'll fold our hands and bow our heads and talk to God in prayer. Dear gracious God, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to have schools where children can be educated. Help us to make it a joy-filled time as we share your love and your grace with others.
School starts tomorrow, and 2 Ohio schools have a big decision to make. Hamilton has a board meeting tonight and is expected to make an announcement to the community.
Yes, I think, Mr. Sprague, you have something you'd like to announce?
We have heard from parents, students, teachers, and community members. Through this time, we have heard viewpoints that support the arming of personnel and also those who do not. The board has decided that Hamilton teachers will not be armed. We will not be accepting any applications or starting any training with anyone who might be interested in volunteering.
Thank you.
I believe at this point the schools aren't as safe as they should be.
Sheriff Richard K. Jones isn't happy that Hamilton schools won't be arming properly trained teachers and staff.
They just don't want to do anything controversial. And I suppose arming school personnel is controversial, and they're scared of the pressure from the public.
I was crying. That's why we were late. Because I read what he wrote and I was like, pfft.
This is Cooper's last chance to persuade the Madison School Board to halt the process of arming his teachers before school starts tomorrow.
There's not enough scotch in a day for me to sit down with the guy from Faster.
In the actual website, it cites our shooting.
That's what I'm saying.
It says the shooting was ended by a resource officer rushing into the cafeteria. No, the shooting was ended by his incompetence because he's a child.
And nobody around here seems to find that a problem.
In a world where facts don't matter, arming teachers is perfect.
Everyone stand for Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States. While Madison has agreed in principle to arming its teachers, they're yet to take the final step of voting to implement the policy, expected to take place at tonight's meeting.
Marty Caffrey.
I can't tell you that I'm okay with guns anymore. I don't ever want to hold the instrument that came an eighth of an inch from putting my child in a wheelchair. What I will tell you is that every night when my child goes to sleep, I watch him relive that day. Kids his age are doing things, they're looking at porn, they're playing fucking games on their phone, excuse my French. My child sits in a room and he researches safety and gun shootings. I check his browser history, I know what's on there. This is a child who was already shot in school and who is watching people that he trusts to protect them put in policy things that are not, they're just not statistically okay. And I don't care if it's a gun issue to some people, it's not to me. To have anything but a gun-free zone in a school, that's not what we as a community or as parents should be about. The stance that you're taking right now is very reactive. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to swear and I apologize if I was rude. Thank you.
Cooper Caffrey.
A student who by all profiling standards was a normal child, involved in sports and friendly with faculty, brought a firearm into school, kept it in his possession until lunch, and discharged it within feet of a law enforcement officer. He stopped shooting because his gun became jammed, not because of the intervening law enforcement. Armed personnel did not deter him because he was not thinking logically. Good guys with guns don't stop bad guys with guns very often. And many other actions by this board at these meetings make me justifiably concerned that my classmates and I could not only be shot by a student, but now possibly a teacher.
Thank you. Discretion designating additional school employees and volunteers to possess, store, or use weapons, including a concealed weapon. Need a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Mr. Nattiello.
So is that the passing of the plan, what you guys just did?
Mr. Nattiello.
Was that the passing of it?
Dr. Genline.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Mr. Finch. Yes.
Emily.
You got to understand the legal mumbo jumbo to understand even what's transpiring, you know. It's unacceptable. They just passed some more changes to policy to implement the arming of teachers in our school. Makes me sick.
Here's the thing, if they know you're armed, I think people will be less likely to come in and attack you.
Sheriff Jones intimidated these people.
No, they didn't. Bill, don't you ever set foot in my property.
Oh, trust me, I have no
And that trespassing sign is for you.
I hope at some point in the future we can put it all behind us. I hope nobody gets killed or injured. I'm concerned that they are going to be. You know.
We are strictly a firearm safety educational charity.
It's not a charity, it's an NRA, big gun funded association that wants to get rid of gun-free schools. That's it.
Like I said, you're uninformed.
I'm not uninformed. I know what you put out. And you know what? And your reaction and that smart-ass grin tells me exactly that I'm not misinformed. Hopefully you and I can continue this conversation later. Okay? Thank you. Whoa, fucking little fuck.
What just happened?
He spoke to the man from Faster.
Oh. That motherfucker's trying to sit there, and he saw me talking to French's wife. That's who I was talking to. And then he tried to post up next to me so that he could turn around and try to fucking sell me on the Faster program. And then he tried to tell me it was a volunteer charity organization that is about promoting school safety. Right, but everything you just told me is an absolute fucking lie. And I said, and I can tell you it's a lie, but that fucking shitty grin you got on your face. I don't care.
So they already had their meeting?
They had their meeting, and then with executive.
What are they doing, voting? Or they already voted?
They already voted.
Okay.
Why are you here tonight?
Meeting, important meeting. So I was out riding my motorcycle and I thought I'd stop in and see what was going on. Pretty good reason, isn't it? So here I am. Peace, love, and salutation. That's right, I'm here.
That's right.
I'm just out for a nice ride in the country.
And how did the meeting go from what you hear?
I hear it went pretty good, so that's up to the school board. I'm just the poor sheriff. Just here to encourage and do my small part. That's all. Well, you were here. How'd you think it went?
I think it was a bit heated.
Get out of here. We made it in our Constitution that we'll have our guns. So that's the difference in us and you guys, just in case you come back again.
Welcome to Hamilton High School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Despite having made the decision, Madison Schools still hasn't said when teachers will start carrying guns.
You see a gun on a teacher and you feel threatened, you do the same thing that you would do if you saw any person anywhere with a gun and you felt threatened. And you were well within your right to do so. Okay? There you go. There's your song for you. You're gonna be fine. It'll be all right. All right. 2:30's pickup. I love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Atta boy. Atta boy.
You okay?
Nope. Oh, wait, there he is.
Marty spotted Billy in a field next to Madison School, staging a one-man protest.
Hey, old timer. Stop to say hey.
Scared me. I had one guy pull up here one day and stop, and he was driving a car with tinted windows. He started that window down, and it's the first thing that crosses my mind. This person's going to shoot me, you know. And then he raised his hand up and he went like this. I'm like, God. I thought he was going to shoot me. I really did, you know. But shoot, you know. This is about our kids. And keeping them safe.
You know that means.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Oh, fuck, that man's got balls. Cooper is afraid, but I don't think he would ever want anyone to know that. And I don't know that Cooper would admit that. Cooper was different this morning. He was different this morning than any other day that I've ever taken him to school. He didn't say anything, but he just had that very innocent, childlike look. you know, like needing reassurance that it would be okay. I think that keeping him there is not in his best interest.
After a sustained summer campaign by the sheriff and his allies, Madison remains the only school in Butler County to have armed teachers.